Loading into Game 2 for the Discount Team House Tournament Season 3 Finals. We have Team BB versus Team OTS. Game 1 going over to Team OTS in a very long drawn-out game, barely getting clinched out by OTS. Several dragons, several barons. And Team BB looking to tie up this game so that they can turn this into a series and continue the tournament lives. In the blue side, for Team BB, we have OS Firewall returning in the top lane as Malphite, Big Palm playing the Zac, CJ Flash playing Akshan, Chevy Man returning on the Misfortune, and X Bryson playing the Xerath. On the red side, we have Team OTS, Mr. Zufu playing his signature Alawi, Scary Amp returning on the Graves, Lil TJ playing Lissandra, and Crazy Mr. BC and I Am Root both playing the same champions, Sivir and the Zyra. So far, we have a pretty standard opening for both junglers playing on the bot side of the map with the leash from the bot lane. And taking a look at the compositions once again, we have a similar setup, of course, with the Sivir and Zyra. Lots of wave pressure and the ability to continue to push in the wave. However, Team BB have responded with the Xerath over the Amumu this time, which is a good idea because Xerath can match the wave clear. And now they don't rely so much on the all-in, but instead they're going to go for poke instead. And so the Amumu doesn't have to go in to all the Zyra plants and take free damage. So this should be a better setup for them for sure. Misfortune should be able to get a lot of money using the first strike on the E and Qs. And Xerath as well with the Spell Thief sword. Or Spell Thief's edge rather. And already looking to poke down the enemy bot lane. They are going for already. In the mid lane, we have Akshan into Lissandra. Definitely a favorable matchup for the Lissandra. There's really no kill pressure from Akshan, especially post level 6. And so he's going to have to try to roam and get things done in other sides of the map. And it'll almost always be bot lane because there's really nothing he can do against the Alawi. Alawi really thrives in gank scenarios, can turn it around really easily. And already we can see that Malphite only has 2 CS, getting bullied out quite severely by this Alawi. Of course, is Mr. Zufu's best champion. It is also surprising that Team BB has allowed Graves to go through once again. The Sivir as well, really. Of course, there are more threatening champions that Scary Amp and Crazy Mr. BC plays, so that might be why. But this Graves has definitely been a constant pressure and a late game threat, not just during this series but in the tournament as a whole. And an interesting ignite coming in from I Am Root, perhaps trying to cut down some of the damage that Chevy Man's pot was going to do, but it's not too great of a value. Chevy Man, of course, going for the exhaust this time around, and so it's not the double heal setup that we saw in game 1 for them. And now Zac moving in the top side of the map. Scuttle has already been taken by Graves, and he's actually going to gank in the mid lane, but Akshan's able to get away. And so now Scary Amp is ahead in tempo. Will continue to move down to the bot river and get the second Scuttle before Big Palm gets anything to do with it. So once again, Scary Amp trying to take advantages early on. We'll have to see if he continues to punish and go counter jungling the way he did to the Big Palm's Fiddlesticks in game 1. Taking a look at farm, the gap is starting to really get out of hand for this Alawi and Crazy Mr. BC. However, Akshan does have a small lead on this Lissandra. As is expected in the early game, Lissandra does have to respect the burst damage that Akshan could really throw out. But Akshan has to be careful using his hook shot, doesn't want to get rooted in a bad position, especially if Graves is around. Now we see some pings coming down. Looks like Big Palm perhaps may gank this bot lane. The wave is crashing in. Graves is still quite far away, working on his own Grom. Looks like Graves has gone for the Doran's Blade option. He's going to be very good at skirmishing early. That extra bit of health can be really big help when it comes to just fighting long drawn-out scrappy fights. So we'll have to see how he does. I don't believe he's going to actually start up this dragon, but maybe we'll look to go bot lane. And Zac has chosen not to do anything bot lane, so it's going to be a 3 versus 1 potential dive. Xerath and Misfortune will actually get their recalls off, so it will be fine. So Graves wasted a little bit of time, but was perhaps looking for something there, and now it's going to make his way over to the dragon. Or perhaps mid lane. And the wave is crashing in, and this is going to be CJ Flash's opportunity to recall home. He does not have teleport, so he always needs to make sure to get this wave really crashed in. Bigger the wave, the better. That way he has time to get back to lane without losing too much. And Graves was trying to catch him there, but instead is just going to help Lissandra push her own wave so she can go home. But it looks like she's already gone home and used the teleport. I missed that, so I wasn't able to pick up the Lost Chapter, but does have the components for it. Noon Quiver completed for Akshan. Alawi has gone for a very curious Hex Drinker into a Malphite that will most likely be building full tank. And now Akshan's going to go right into lol TJ, however, the immediate root up, and she does back away, but as you can see, immediately chunked down to about 40% health. And so now going to have to be really careful, and does have the ultimate for safety, but doesn't really want to have to use it just to survive the burst. So see what she ends up doing there. Zyra looking for a potential roam, but decides to go bot lane. The wave is already crashing in. And now we see pings coming in. Graves is on his way as well. Is it going to be a 3 versus 1 in the mid lane? Big Palm is in the area as well. Looking to cover perhaps, but Akshan goes in. Really bad timing because Zyra has now arrived. Lol TJ buying time with his ultimate, and Graves has arrived as well. First blood goes over to Team OTS. Graves did pick up an assist as well. And Malphite just not there quite in time. And now it looks like they're going to look for a re-engage here. Malphite has ultimate. Flash R immediately followed up by Big Palm's slingshot. And they're going to respond 1 for 1. And now Big Palm is going to walk into a root. Quite literally. From I Am Root is there as well, and the Ignite is ticking. The passive is there. Are they going to be able to pick it up? The last blob on the left should be able to get bursted down by Graves' Q. Yes, it will, and the auto to secure it. And so 2 for 1 in favor of OTS. Not respecting the fact that Zyra or Graves might still be in the area, perhaps screening that bottom side scuttle. So Palmer will go down as well, along with his passive. But OS Firewall, he's been known to do this quite a bit, where actually Mr. Zufu has to flash away because he took turret aggro, and now ultimate's pretty much nothing. So OS Firewall with a small win. Of course, he didn't have his own ultimate, but now that it's evened up, he should be able to farm pretty easily here. Zufu will use this opportunity to go home. The wave has been crashed in anyway, so it doesn't matter too much, and will teleport back. And Chevy Man caught out a little bit, does sidestep the root, has to flash away, but Crazy Mr. BC on the chase. The exhaust is going to buy a lot of time. Full channel of the ultimate canceled a little bit early, and Crazy Mr. BC with a nice flash out only takes 1 turret shot and does manage to survive. Bryce is going to look for a flash Q, but not quite able to do it. And now CJ Flash has gone in, but it gets immediately rooted under turret, but does force the flash out of lol TJ. So that's the danger of this hook shot. He needs to be careful not to get rooted under turret, and now Scary Hemp has found Big Palm. Big Palm, of course, does not have the passive. Needs to be careful. And so the advantage starting to grow quite early here for Team OTS. 3 kills to 1 at 9 minutes and a significant gold lead as well. The CS lead stays strong for most members other than the mid lane. Although, considering how poor of a start we had for OS Firewall in terms of farm, he has caught up quite a bit, and of course has gone for the tier 2 boots early to try to deal with this. And now he has to be careful not to fight this for too long. Alawi doesn't have ultimate, sure, but is taking so much damage from the tentacles and is taking minion aggro as well. The soul's going to get taken, and immediately Malphite R is not going to be enough, and CJ Flash gets a solo kill in the mid lane, has to run from Scary Amp. Scary Amp is still on the chase. Of course, he doesn't have any boots, but he's actually going to get slowed down by the fruit. And the flash forward and the ultimate will secure it. Big Palm arrived just a tad too late to save his mid laner, and so it will be a trade back. Neither mid laner having teleport. He's going to have to walk back to lane. And CJ's going to have his Ignite now for the next rotation, so he's going to have once more a kill threat. We can see that a very early tier 1 turret has gone down. Considering Alawi has been pushing Malphite into the turret this whole time, Zac has not been able to get any kind of gank off in the top lane to respond to that. And so the first turret goes so quickly. Of course, the Demolish helping out big time there. So we'll have to see. Now that Alawi has taken that tier 1 so early, it is still a risk to keep pushing this as long as the Herald is up. The jungler is going to be on that side of the map. Of course, neither jungler has started up the Baron, or the Dragon rather, either. It will be the Ocean. So some items getting completed once more. We have the Lost Chapter completed for both supports. Of course, Zyra was able to afford a little bit more thanks to the early pressure that they were able to get with the assist. And the first mythic item has been completed for Graves. It is the Yomu's Rush and has the magical footwear. So a very early cash out he was able to afford despite going to the Doran's Blade. And Sunfire has been completed for Zac as well. So that's going to help us clear quite a bit and makes him quite tanky for these skirmishes. So he'll be quite happy with that. Alawi, after going for the Hex Drinker, it's almost like he read my mind. He's going to pivot into going for the Frozen Fist, and that looks like to be the item of choice for Malphite as well. He has been enjoying that quite a bit. Makes it a nightmare for the ADCs. Now Zyra taking quite a bit of damage here just from the poke, but Graves is in the area, and in the top lane we have an engage from Alawi once again under turret, but Malphite just doesn't have the kill pressure, so isn't going to really be able to do anything here. The soul gets taken in, Alawi's healing up quite a bit. On the other side, Chevy Man's going to face check into the bush, gets immediately blown up by Scary Amp, and X Bryson will respond by sniping out I Am Root, and the junglers will trade some blows, but will back away. But because the ADC is down for Team BB, they're unable to really get the experience they could have in the bot lane. Now CJ Flash is going to go in onto Mr. Zufu. Does he have the burst to take him down? It looks like he will barely not have it. And Mr. Zufu with a nice turnaround despite the 2 versus 1. OS Firewall really couldn't do much because of the low health and mana. And a huge blunder comes in from BB. 2 levels down, OS Firewall, and with mid laner being dead, Scary Amp's going to confidently start up this dragon despite knowing that Zac is alive, and it looks like they're going to start moving toward it. Are they going to be able to jump over the wall? Misfortune does have ultimate, and I Am Root has arrived as well. It's gonna ultimate will immediately blow up Zyra, and now the fight continues. 2 versus 2 exhaust onto Scary Amp is very nice. Flash forward, Chevy Man, very ambitious, but will go down. Immediately ulted up by Lol TJ, and now Big Palm going to try to trade back a kill, but his passive will pop and no one to save him. There is not a teleport up to save him either. And now as a 3-man, they're going to be able to pick up this dragon. CJ perhaps going to try to trade back a kill. He's going to find Scary Amp and will try to burst him down. The Q is not enough, and the root from Lol TJ. He does have ultimate though. He targets the Graves, and Graves is actually going to go behind Lissandra, giving him a double kill. A huge mistake for Team OTS, completely unnecessary. Akshan are pretty much a continuous Caitlyn R, so it had targeted Graves, but by Graves going backward, it allowed for the double kill. Big mistake coming there. And actually, Crazy Mr. BC is going to flash forward right onto Bryson. Ultimates for the little bit of movement speed, but has to back away from the Misfortune E. However, Bryson did have to use his heal, as Zyra has arrived, and they're going to get a plate together here. A large wave that Chevy Man was able to absorb, so stops the bleeding just a little bit. However, it is still a decent 24 CS lead in favor of Crazy Mr. BC. Same thing in the top lane. Alawi continuing to grow that lead to about 50 CS. Now Zac has arrived, but is spotted by Ward. He doesn't realize it yet, and so the bot lane for OTS is going to back away. Herald likely going to be the next point of contention for both these teams. Scary Amp is already in, waiting to see if Akshan goes in once again onto this Lissandra, but looks like he will choose not to. Frozen Fist, Leandries, and Static Shiv completed all for OTS. Dirk still is the item for Misfortune, unable to get the Mythic just yet. However, Kraken has been completed for Akshan, so a decent spike here. He's going to want to try to farm this Lissandra as much as he can before those Zanyas comes in. Already the cloth armor purchased. And Alawi has complete control over this top side of the map, even farming the Gromp. There's really not much Malphite can do by himself, and this is the difficult thing with Alawi, is even if somebody comes to gank her, she can turn it a 2 versus 1 really easily. But now, OS Firewall with a nice catch onto Lissandra, not even able to respond with the ultimate, rotating to the Herald, and now they're going to re-engage onto Scary Amp. Is going to have to flash away. He's going to get Akshan ulted. Is it going to be enough damage? It looks like barely not enough. Has to flash away, and Malphite unable to get it. And behind, Mr. Zufu had flanked and does pick up CJ Flash, and now it's a 2 versus 1. However, Palmer is in the area. He's going to slingshot in. Should be able to pick up Scary Imp. Yes, he does. And Zyra actually roots up under turret, but Misfortune barely going to survive, and now it's tank versus tank. However, it is a 3-level differential here. Big Palm has to try to slingshot out, not before his soul gets pulled out, but is Mr. Zubu going to be able to follow up? No, he's not. In the bot lane, one more shot perhaps onto the Zyra. No, it is not going to be enough. X-Bryson trying to do something there, but unable to do so. And another turret has gone down, and Alawi is knocking on the door of the top turret as well, and would demolish. This turret's probably going to go down in the next couple seconds. So 3 unanswered turrets to the 0 for Team BB. So much map pressure, and now CJ Flash once again going to go in, but going to immediately root up the ult stun as well, and little TJ will just E out to safety. Next dragon will be spawning in 1 minute 40 seconds. It will be the Chemtech. Chemtech is a nice bonus for the Graves and Alawi for sure. Some more completed items. Misfortune definitely not as strong as she was at this point in the game. The last game, she was snowballing quite hard, but now barely able to afford the Yomus. And the Herald will be dropped in the mid lane. Is Big Palm going to go in on this? Probably not. Just waiting to see how they respond. Graves was in the area as well. And we have pretty much a 65 CS lead for Alawi, completely out of control, and a decent lead for this Graves and Sivir as well. So clearly the laning phase has gone in favor of OTS, and even with the first dragon. So OTS is going to have to find some situations where they can turn things around, and now Alawi is pushing on the bot side of the map. 2 versus 1 scenario here. Lissandra and Zyra are on the top side of the map, so OTS does have the rotation starting toward the mid lane here, trying to perhaps start it up or get a wave crashing. That way they can start up the dragon that's spawning. And now OS Farwell has actually caught out I Am Root. Gonna get immediately bursted down. Crazy Mr. BC unable to use his E properly there. And a huge 2-man ultimate coming in from Misfortune and the Xerath ult to back it up, but Lil TJ does flash away, so Bryson's not going to be able to pick up anything there, but perhaps he's going to use the rest on Mr. Zupu. No, he just cancels it. On 1 versus 1 scenario in the bot lane, Akshan trying to deal with his Alawi, and now the dragon is going to be up for grabs for OTS. Big Palm does get the Q onto the Graves, but does use the Blast Cone to get over the wall, and now Mr. Zupu full engages onto CJ, but CJ will use his E to get away, and the ultimate will not be enough to pick him off, and now it's going to be a 4 versus 4 skirmish, or 4 versus 3 rather. Akshan still looking for Mr. Zupu. Is he going to be able to get it? And he's recalling in the bush. The Q doesn't land, but the ignite and hook shot will be enough. He does get the shutdown, and now they have full control. BB in the area. Zyra has arrived as well, and Graves going to try to step forward and has the ultimate to get away. The exhaust was sticking on him, and Mr. BC coming in now. He's going to flash and try to pick up Chevy Man, but does not get it. The Q did land, but was just barely not enough damage, but does get away himself as well. And so a pretty decent win for Team BB, especially the fact that they were able to pick up the shutdown. And actually, CJ once more, he's going to go in. The heal is there as well, and immediately going to get rooted up. Zyra ultimate, a little bit overkill, and now Bryson try to flash forward, and Big Palm has now arrived. He's going to go in. Malphite is backing up, and is going to land the ultimate onto Graves. Graves goes down, and the passive for Big Palm has been popped. Lil TJ now fighting a 2 versus 1, but is buying just enough time for Alawi to teleport in, but even more time with their ultimate. Is Mr. Zufu going to be able to get anything in here? Big Palm does not have passive anymore. Is he going to have Slingshot in time to get away? Lil TJ eating forward, but actually got too greedy. He wanted to get the Malphite as well, so they're not going to get either of them. And so Big Palm just barely gets away. The skin on his teeth. And the E's going to land on Chevy Man. Going to take a decent bit of damage. And another turret goes in favor of Team OTS. 4-0 now. So much of the gold lead coming that way. So Team BB, yes, they are up in kills, and yes, they were able to respawn one of the dragons, but the gold differential is still clearly there, just straight up from CS. So, and Bryson needs to be careful there. He's gonna land a stun. It is a 3 versus 1. Are they gonna try to pick this Alawi off? The ultimate will drop, and they are running away from the tentacle zone. CJ needs to be careful. Are they gonna be able to burst him? Yes, they do, and they will all survive as well. So started off as Mr. Zupu trying to get a pick off onto Bryson. Cavalry arrived and they are able to do it. Now, Graves on the other side of the map, trying to get some control over this top part of the map. Perhaps they were maybe considering the Baron, but they don't have the DPS yet. And actually, Misfortune has to, or Sivir has to ultimate away. And on the other side, OS Firewall is going to go straight into Lol TJ. And it looks like Bryson was able to pick off the kill onto the Sivir. So that was a nice little setup for what started off with Chevy Man getting a decent channel off on his ultimate onto Crazy Mr. Beast. He had to ultimate just to get away from it. A nice follow-up from Bryson with the snipe. And so, funny situation, last game, it was Chevy Man picking up a lot of early kills, and now it's actually X-Bryson, 4-0 and 2 on the Xerath. He's an absolute carry in his own right. And pretty much the solo AP damage as well. And so unless they respect a little bit of that with MR, he's actually just going to shred a lot of the units here on Team OTS. Kill lead now ahead by 6. And the gold lead's starting to shrink as well. So these kills are really starting to rack up. Looks like Misfortune's going to go for the straight up lethality build once more. Blade of the Rune King, the second item for CJ Flash rather. And it's going to help quite a bit against this Graves and Alawi. It's going to be some more items coming in here. Both top laners has completed their Frozen Fist, and Hullbreaker already completed for Alawi. Of course, Bramble going to be the item of choice to try to deal with the healing for OS Firewall. Now Lol TJ is going to go into a 1 versus 3, completes the E, has to respect the Malphite. Malphite could have probably gotten a nice 2-man ultimate there, but realizes his damage is not quite there. Once again, it's going to be CJ versus Mr. Zufu in the bot lane. He tries to go for the flash forward with the ultimate, but of course hookshot does get CJ into safety. And is still taking turret aggro because of the tentacles. But perhaps gets the demolish proc off. He doesn't mind taking a little bit of turret shots and will back away. And Zach has actually completed his second item before this Graves, and so there is a decent window here that they can try to force by going in ham on somebody. Actually, Xerath's going to try to... Oh, a nice sidestep there. He dodges that out, and CJ Flash should be able to pick up Mr. Zufu. Yes, he does. He did not have his ultimate this time around now. OS Firewall is going to get caught out a little bit, has to flash away. The flash and root onto OS Firewall, but he is a very tanky boy. Despite not having any MR, he is going to get away from that situation. So 1-for-0 in favor of BB. Bryson has to be careful here. Has to heal. And actually, Big Palm's going in by himself. There's no one quite up there. Has to back away. And OS Firewall doesn't have ult. Is quite low. Needs to run away from this situation. He's going to get chased down by Scary Imp. The smite is there. Is the ultimate going to be enough? No, it's not. And the buckshot is not enough either. All while CJ is getting a nice push onto the bot wave. Might not be able to get the turret or anything, but should be able to get a decent amount of damage. However, the rotation is here. All 4 members and the teleport coming in from Mr. Zufu. He's going to arrive just in time. And this will be the second Drake pretty much going over for free for Team OTS. A nice rotation after the push. Xerath is going to try for the steal attempt. It's going to land 1 ult. Perhaps another one. No, it will not be enough. So 2 dragons to 1. On this Cloud map. Cloud, again, really, really good in general for Graves and Sivir. And it's definitely very helpful against compositions like Zac, where he's just going to slingshot it and you only have a little bit of time to respond, but that bit of movement speed out of combat might just be enough to get him away. Mr. Zufu takes down 1 more turret. Now it is 5-1. And CJ is actually going to go in very aggressively. He does have the wave to work with here. Zufu's going to R, flash forward, and again, a turn around, fade away ultimate. It will be enough. Nicely played solo kill for CJ Flash. He has been the response from Team BB to deal with this Alawi, and so far it's been working out because we definitely know that OS Firewall can't deal with him. Now Bryson's going to have to flash away. Crazy Mr. BC had popped the ultimate to try to chase down, but Xerath playing it quite safe. Did land the stun as well, so just keep him alive, and CJ is going to respond by getting another turret in the bot lane. So the gold lead's definitely starting to shrink. It's less than 2k now. Collector completed for Misfortune, and the Nabori, the second item of choice for Sivir. Collector also completed for Graves. He's going to try to cash out on that. OS Firewall definitely too deep there. Gets CC locked for ages. And the pings come in to perhaps start up this Baron. They think they could do it without the primary tank being gone. And OS Firewall does have teleport, so if BB can kind of delay this long enough, he can teleport in. And CJ actually gets 2 turrets unanswered. So he's going to be very happy with that. The Youmuu's has been popped. Xerath is definitely out of position, and he doesn't have his flash anymore, but they're going to turn on to Big Palm. Big Palm flashes forward, gets the damage. They do take down Lissandra thanks to the help of Chevy Man. Now it's a 3 versus 2. Chevy Man in melee range flashes forward. Kind of unusual play there. And Xerath trying to pick up something here. Maybe if he can soften up Graves just enough. No. Yes, one more will land. And another one as well. But because he does not land the next one, he won't be able to get the kill. And now he's really out of position. So if they can find him, actually, they're not going to find him. And CJ Flash gets a nice pick onto Root. Forces the flash as well. Clown Fiesta got kind of going on out here. It could have definitely gone better for Team BB there. Chevy Man getting into melee range in a 3 versus 1 scenario and then kind of flashing forward randomly definitely didn't help. And if he had kited properly, it might have gone a little bit better, but for sure, overall a pretty even trade for both sides. However, Mr. Xufu continuing the split push menace that he is, and then perhaps he's going to get this inhibitor. I don't think Miss Fortune can deal with him alone. But Akshan has arrived now, and because 2 have shown in the bot lane, this will prompt OTS to go for the Baron on the other side of the map. And Alawi doing exactly what he needs to do in this kind of situation, just be that split push threat. So far, 3 men on it. BB are responding. They have their 2 dive units, and actually, Scary Imp is kind of low. They have to be careful. Slingshot into the pit. Immediate 2-man ultimate from OS Firewall. Are they going to be able to lock down Scary Imp fast enough? Chevy Man is here and gets a nice double up. Hits both of them. Gets a double kill. And now CJ once again goes right on into Mr. Xufu because he does not have his ultimate. And a huge swing in favor of BB. And actually, the Baron's going to get an assist onto Crazy Mr. BC. Knocks him up. And it's going to be enough to take him down. Chevy Man picks one up and is on the chase now for Root. No vision in the bush. Will regain it now. And the ultimate to finish it off. Chevy Man really popping off, making up for that mistake earlier. And now the Baron has swung in favor of Team BB. They're going to pick it up. And with Alawi being dead, it's actually an ace for 0. Really nicely done. Akshan has been the savior in this series, just dealing with the Alawi perfectly and getting solo kill after solo kill. And yes, Alawi has the hull breaker, but once again, this is where the Hex Drinker item purchase is kind of not the best. And Chevy Man is going to get caught out in the mid lane a little bit too greedy, trying to get that wave pushed in, and it's going to get immediately blown up, and the shutdown does go over as well, so not the best way to end things, but overall, BB is now in a very good lead. Has not only recouped the gold differential, but now is 2k ahead as well. And with the dragon spawning in 19 seconds, and a lot of big purchases coming in, CJ playing so confidently, walking up in invis, knows that LolTJ doesn't have ultimate, and is going to immediately pop him, but LolTJ does get the W off before he dies, roots him just for a second, but Scary Imp not able to respond, and now OS Firewall and Mr. Xufu have found each other. OS Firewall is going to be looking for a decent ultimate here. And CJ continuing to deal a lot of damage onto Mr. Xufu. Xufu does have ultimate, however, the hull breaker value is not here. They're going to try to force it down. It's going to put him on soul point if they get this. Is Big Palm going to try for the steal? No, he does not. And OS Firewall does go in, lands a huge 3-man ultimate. Root so low. Mr. Xufu fighting alone now in his ultimate zone. He's buying a lot of time. And Akshan does go down, however, a nice Misfortune ultimate is going to pick up another double kill. And so, a 2 for 3. And that goes in favor of BB. And with the Baron buff there, should be able to push in one more wave here. Sandra can't hold this by herself. Chevy Man playing very aggressively. Nice. Able to get the Zhonya's and the follow-up stun from Bryson. They should be able to pick it up. Yes, he does. And OTS kind of starting to fall apart here. A lot of really sloppy calls. But that fight was definitely saved by OS Firewall. Going into the pit, landing a 3 or 4-man ultimate. I wasn't able to check, but... And the nice follow-up. And yes, The dragon did go over to OTS, but it is Cloud Soul, pretty much one of the most underwhelming ones, and so it's, yes, it will scale, and yes, it will make their Elder much better, but if BB continue to play like this, they are definitely in prime position to tie up this series. Without a doubt, if Akshan had survived that last dragon fight, they would have been able to get inhibitor as well. They just lacked a little bit of DPS there. Now Akshan's been caught out. Graves is pinging to go into Akshan. Is Akshan going to be able to survive this 2 versus 1? It's not looking likely. He does have his hook shot. Is he going to use it? He's going to flash forward and does get away. Blade of the Rune King procced as well, so he gets a little bit of the movement speed, but he is slowed by Xufu. Xufu is on the chase now, but it's kind of a 1 versus 1. Graves is still far away. Does go over the wall. He's just gonna buy time for his team. If they can get something done on a different part of the map, it's definitely gonna be worth it. One more hook shot will get him decently far away. Graves actually expending his flash and ultimate to kill him, so he didn't want to have to waste any more time. Immediately executes his brother. In mid lane, Sivir is dealing with the wave by himself. So a lot of really good wave clear coming in from Bryson, so they're not able to get anything done on a different part of the map. Of course, Malphite isn't the best split pusher either, so especially against Lysandra, wasn't able to get a turret or anything. And now Zac knows that Iron Root is there, is gonna land the knockup and get the Q. The damage already at half health, and now Graves is in a 2 versus 1 situation. Immediately executes X Bryson, but Chevy Man responds with an ultimate of his own, does trade 1 for 1. And the rest of the team weren't able to follow up. However, Mr. Xufu is going to use this skirmish opportunity to take down one more inhibitor. Has a big wave that OS Firewall is going to eat up. The E will miss, and now it is a 3 versus 1 scenario. Yes, he did get the inhibitor, but it should go down here. They need to be careful not to trade 1 for 1. Chevy Man has to flash away, but they do pick him up, so a nice win. But on the other side of the map, it looks like Lysandra was able to get another nice push in. So Baron's not up quite yet, another 1 minute and 45 seconds, so there's nothing to really take here. But just looking at the map, all the waves are just so in favor of OTS, and so if they want, they can continue this pressure and be the ones to start up the Baron. The problem is, OTS does not want to... Okay, the Voltage is going to get completely caught out, and that was not the right ultimate. He probably should have ultimated himself by a little bit more time, but I think he was dead either way, so it doesn't matter. And nice vision coming in from BB, was able to pick up another kill here. And Akshan's going to be a full build before you know it. Thornmill completed for the Zac as well as the Malphite, so very, very powerful tanks. However, Lord Dominic's and Black Cleaver completed for Graves, but did not matter in that 1 versus 1 scenario. CJ Flash gets revenge on his brother. Picks up a nice solo kill. Gonna throw out the ultimate to try to get some pressure. It's gonna hit the inhibitor. A very smart play coming in from CJ, and actually does get the inhibitor pretty much for free. Definitely wasn't the play there for Team OTS. I don't know if they remembered that it could hit buildings like that. And so inhibitor for inhibitor has been responded by Team BB, and now with the Baron spawning in 25 and the Dragon in 30, we'll have to see if they decide to split objectives or hard pressure. It is up to BB to try to stop this Dragon because they don't want to give up Soul, even if it's not the best one. And sure enough, they are going to send allowing the top side of the map to split push by herself and going to play on the bottom side of the map. Graves has completed his next item, is going to start walking down. Malphite starting to pressure out this area. Lysandra not able to. Actually, another solo kill by CJ. Gets 1. He might even get 2. The Q will land. Graves has the ultimate to even just get away. So CJ is absolutely carrying his team on his back. Does pick up 1 more, but now somebody has to deal with this Alawi. Is CJ's recall going to get stopped? Yes, it does. He actually goes right back in onto Lol TJ. This time around, Lol TJ uses his ult onto CJ, and Zhonya's to buy time, but now Big Palm tries to pick up 1, but the flash forward from Lol TJ will save him. And now the inhibitor has gone down. So it is Malphite and Xerath trying to deal with it. Big Palm's still stuck in this 2 versus 1, but he's very tanky. Flash forward, ultimate will land from OS Firewall. Ultimate response from Mr. Xufu, tries to chase down Chevy Man, but is unable to do so. Does pick up a kill onto OS Firewall, however. So turns around a nice 3 versus 1. The Collector will be the one to finish it off, but this will prompt Scary M to start up the Baron with his team. LolTG needs to be careful, doesn't get poked out. Xerath, R1, 2. It's actually the Baron that's going to assist it. And Big Palm going to try to maybe do a 50-50 here. The smite. Oh, and Scary M does secure it, and they pop the Zac passive and should be able to pick up this kill. Actually, no, he's not going to. The passive wasn't able to get taken down by the buckshot. Now Xerath is going to respond one more as well. A huge shutdown goes into his pocket. He's 8-1-10. An absolute monster on this Xerath. And so after all that settles down, we see that Sivir is the only one who was able to keep the Baron buff. Of course, it is the most important member to have it, but a 4 for 0 essentially. Well, of course, OS Firewall did go down, so I guess it's a 4 for 1. So Sivir will be able to do some wave clearing. However, the mid wave does have the supers, so gonna have a hard time clearing that. And the bot inhibitor for BB are gonna spawn before the mid, but the top one being down, they're just gonna be on wave pushing duty for quite a while. Thankfully, BB were able to pick up the dragon, and so it does slow down the soul potential for just a bit longer for OTS. But it's been an absolute bloodbath of a game. 60 kills, but BB are doubling it, and so much of it have been off the back of CJ and Chevy Man here, both playing extremely well. And as the game progresses, definitely the team composition is looking just so much better for Team BB. There's pretty much no damage on OTS's side. Sivir, pretty much a non-factor, just the wave clear bot, even a debuff bot with the Immortal Reminder. And Lissandra has been so behind this whole game, is pretty much 3 items down compared to CJ, and so it's pretty much just going to be a drain tank, just buying time and getting cooldowns out, buying time with their ultimate and the Zhonya's. So it's going to be pretty much up to Alawi and Graves to do what damage they can, but Graves doesn't have the best DPS either. He's kind of bursty, and so CJ's going to get caught out this time by Mr. Zufu. The ultimate immediately down. CJ gets out of range with his E, but isn't going to be able to survive this. He does have GA, however. On the other side of the map, Scary Amp has gotten caught out, and look at Chevy Man's damage. Absolutely insane. Flashes forward to secure it, and now Crazy Mr. BC, it is in kind of a bad situation. He needs to get out of this. He's going to get chased down by Big Palm, and Chevy Man's here as well. They're going to get absolutely blown up if this slingshot lands. And the slow is there. The slingshot has to flash away, but Malphite has now arrived. There's nowhere for the Sivir to go. That positioning was definitely not the right call. Mr. Zufu, however, on the bot side of the map, will finally get revenge on CJ. And one more slingshot forward is not going to be enough. The Q does land out, so the slow is there, but not quite enough to finish it off. Of course, Lissandra was in the flank, so could have saved. But a 2 for 2. Oh, and the slingshot's going to be canceled by LolTJ's W, and now he's going to try to flash forward and actually pick up and turn around onto I Am Root. He should be able to get it. Yes, he does. He's so tanky, and the ultimate gives him so much help. Other side, OS Firewall doing what he can against Mr. Zufu. Xerath is here as well, and the heal to keep his top laner alive. He's going to try to land one more Q. Not going to be there, and Zufu will be happy to just walk away. The inhibitor for bot lane is in his eyes, however, so he'll be back. Teleport available as well. So the crazy situation is pretty much it's 43 to 22 kills, and yet the gold lead is less than 1,000 for BB, and that it just keeps coming down to the laning phase. I mean, the CS is so disgusting for both Zufu and Crazy Mr. BC. The Mr. combo just rolled the laning phase, but unable to really make their champions work in this late game scenario. And now CJ's gonna get caught out, smited by Scary Amp. However, Misfortune lands a decent ultimate. It's gonna chase down Scary. Oh my god, the damage is insane. Does one tap Scary Amp, and now Crazy Mr. BC is gonna go down as well. And 2 for 0, just trying to pick up the Akshan, and OS Firewall's gonna go over the wall. TJ has to flash away, but the next slingshot will land as well. He's gonna land the Q, the pullback. He's gonna use his ultimate to buy some time. Has the Zhonya's as well. Oh, but it mistimed with his E, and he's going to go down for sure. But he did do a decent amount of damage to OS Firewall. OS Firewall is going to go down thanks to the help of Zyra's plants. But now, is he going to be able to get away from Big Palm? Yes, he will get away. Illaoi now going to get the inhibitor pretty much just as it spawns in the top lane. Continuing to be that top lane side push threat. But all while that was going on, the dragon was secured. So now it's completely even, 3-3. 2 clouds for both sides. But an inhibitor responded in the mid lane. And Illaoi's about to get sandwiched. Is he going to be able to get away from this 4 versus 1 situation? He does not have flash, does not have ultimate. Are they going to find him? Yes, they found him, but Big Palm does not land a slingshot, and he arrived a little bit early, so he needs to wait for his team to arrive. However, Scary Imp and Zyra is here as well, and so they are able to save Mr. Zufu. They will back away. Misfortune was on the other side, so it wasn't there to throw out the DPS, and CJ not able to do so either. And an insane game already for game 2, just like game 1. This is going on for such a long time. 41 minutes into the game. So Crazy Mr. BC is going to get caught out by CJ, and this is going to happen over and over. In the top lane, it's a 3 versus 1, about to be a 3 versus 1 now that Misfortune has arrived. And a 4 versus 1 because they're throwing out his R. Misfortune lands a decent ultimate and should be able to take him down, yes. However, CJ has not been caught out by his brother. Scary Imp does pick up a kill onto CJ. And so a 1-for-2 situation. And the Baron is up. Is BB going to make the call to do this? I think they can, but it looks like they're not going to. They're actually going to head downwards. Dragon's not there, so I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for. Just some vision control. And now they are starting to rotate. No, Malphite's going to go home. Can't let this wave continue to take down Nexus turrets, so he's going to back away. Illaoi going to spawn in 25. 10 seconds for Crazy Mr. BC. Full item, pretty much, for a lot of members here. We have full items coming in for Illaoi. And this Misfortune, an absolute monster. Double GA on the side of BB, and actually OTS does not have a single GA yet. And it looks like the final item will be BT for Graves, so no GA for him either. Double GA versus no GA is so much value, and of course Lissandra pretty much has a GA just with the amount of time she can buy, but Akshan's GA is about to come up, and so this next fight is going to be super favorable for Team BB if they decide to focus down Misfortune and Akshan first, which you kind of have to. They're not going to be able to kill Zach or Malphite anywhere fast enough, and of course Bryson's been playing this very well, has only died 1 time in a game that has 70 plus kills, so he's playing out of his mind this game. Akshan looking for a pick in the top side, getting real sneaky. Maybe he can find someone looking toward, maybe the Zyra actually. He's gonna walk up, has not been spotted just yet, and the Sivir is actually perhaps gonna be the one to caught, but Spidey senses. And the hook shot wasn't quite optimal, but does get the flash out, and now the ultimate has been popped. It's gonna get blocked. No, nobody blocks it, but he still does survive and gets immediately locked down. Lissandra's the first to fall, and CJ's G didn't even need a pop, so a disaster for Team OTS. But on the other side, Mr. Zufu is pushing another inhibitor, continuing to do what he does best. So it's going to be a two inhibitor situation. Scary Imp gets exhausted, and the chase down is there. Malphite R is not going to land, and he has the ultimate just to get some range, but there's no running away from a Frozen Fist Malphite. And Mr. Zufu is going to get caught out as well. It's a 3 versus 1. The inhibitor has already been taken, and he's going to try to fight as long as he can. Still holding on to his ultimate, looking for the perfect angle. Does not have flash forward, though. And while that's going on, it's going to be Malphite and Misfortune who continue to push the mid wave. The inhibitor might spawn soon, so they should be able to get it on spawns. Illaoi going home on a ward that might have been able to get stopped by Xerath, but it will not do so. And now is home to defend this space. Malphite and Misfortune might have to respect and get away from this situation. And the call is to do Baron. The ping's coming in from blue team. They're going to start heading toward it now. And what is Illaoi going to choose to do? There's nothing to take in the bot lane and has teleport. There is a relatively good wave position, so should be able to get there if he wants to, but the Baron's going down just so quickly. CJ with the Blade of the Ruin came able to just melt the Baron like butter. And the next dragon is now going to spawn. It's soul for both sides. This fight will likely determine the game. The death timers are just so high. Alawi's going to fight with his team this time, but has Hullbreaker, not going to get the value for it, but is full build. BB has to pull the trigger sooner than later. The wave position's bad, and actually it's going to be Alawi that decides to teleport to the top wave. So it's going to be a 4 versus 5. BB have to win this hard, and they have to win it now. CJ gets completely caught out, or Scariamp rather. His GA is popped, and the Ignite's going to be enough. Scariamp goes down, and now is going to get ultimate. So it's a 1-for-1 so far. Actually, Misfortune was able to pick up the kill onto Crazy Mr. BC, so they do win this out, but they have to go home now. It's a 2 versus 1 in the top lane. Mr. Zufu gets 1, and he gets 2. It's going to be an open Nexus situation. And he's going to do what he can to try to end the game, but I don't think he's going to be quite able to. He does have Flash over the wall. Going to buy some time by pulling the soul, but the rest of the team has arrived. And with Baron buff and the death timers being 40, 50 seconds, and the immediate teleport coming in from Malphite to try to push this wave, a good call. If he is able to get this inhibitor, it's going to even out the waves. This is huge though. Even though it looks like a really good situation for OTS, at the end of the day, the Nexus did not go down, and the inhibitors will spawn very soon. And so this next push in the mid wave is going to be really scary. BB is going to be able to get at least inhibitor, if not more, in the side waves. Unfortunately, this tier 1 standing in the top lane is such a tragedy. They just don't have any pressure. They're going to walk it down, and the Malphite ult will not land. Sivir ultimate is popped to try to give a little bit of movement speed, but the siege has now begun. Malphite not having R is huge, so they're allowed to clump and protect their ADC if they want to. Lol TJ is up as well. OS Firewall just trying to be a nuisance, but does have to back away half health. And so nothing comes out of it. But with the inhibitor being down in the mid lane, they should most likely rotate to the bot and try to get at least bot inhibitor before the Baron times out. Malphite does not have teleport anymore, so this is going to be a slow re-engage. Oh my god, one Xerath Q has taken Lol TJ down to half health. Oh my god, one more shot. And he picks off the Lissandra, who did not have Zanya's. Did have ultimate, but chooses not to use it. And now CJ Flash has caught out Mr. Zufu in the bot wave, but who caught who? It's going to be Mr. Zufu popping his ultimate and will scare CJ Flash away. Malphite going to be on top wave duty. The Baron buff's certainly going to help dealing with these super minions. Zac has charged up and is going to go in, flash, and heal forced out. And now the re-engage. They need to wait for the wave. No teleport for Malphite. He can't join this fight. Akshan still doing the same dance he's done with this Alawi so many times, but Alawi's going to go home, and if he's able to go home, he's going to stop the recall. There is vision. The war that just timed out. And they're going to be able to end this game if they can take down one more. Actually, Misfortune's just going to continue autoing it. The ultimate is there. And they're going to focus it down. And we're going to a series. Tied up 1-for-1. Game 2 goes over to Team BB.